For this, Putin will stand condemned in the eyes of the world and of history.
The West rolls out more sanctions against Russia in response to the bloodshed. Showing solidarity, vigils held across the country while Australia vows to provide non-lethal aid. And forces have entered the outskirts of Kiev, with troops rapidly advancing across Ukraine after a night of heavy missile bombardment. Social media videos have shown armoured vehicles driving through Obolon, an area just north of Kiev's city centre. Ukraine has confirmed Russian forces have infiltrated the residential district. More than 100 civilian casualties have already been reported across the country from shelling and airstrikes.
In the battle for Ukraine, Kyiv became the latest frontline. The country's capital woken by explosions just before dawn. Ukrainian forces downed an enemy aircraft, crashing into a residential building. The country's leader claimed he was the target and issued this dire warning.
What we have heard are not just missile blasts and fighting. This is the sound of a new Iron Curtain, which has come down and is closing Russia off from the civilised world.
To the northeast, fighting also erupted in another major city as Russian troops encircled Sumy. Into the night, Ukrainians defended their land. Those who chose to stay and fight were met with a teary goodbye. But as Moscow's forces streamed in, many Ukrainians fled, leaving everything behind. Desperately crossing into neighbouring countries like Poland and Hungary, they left by train and on foot. Those who couldn't leave took shelter in underground train tunnels, which were built during the Cold War to double as bomb shelters.
This is one of the only places you can hide right now in Kiev. Every other place is terrifying.
As fighting raged across the country, Russian troops only had one task in mind.
Everything is fine. We will take this region. This land is ours.
Backed by their president, who was unwavering in his decision.
Everything that's going on is the least evil solution. They didn't leave us a chance to act differently. They created such security risks that we couldn't react otherwise.
The full-scale assault was launched by land, air and sea. Russian jets have targeted Ukraine's air bases and critical infrastructure. Russia's navy bombarded the Ukrainian island of Zimny in the Black Sea, cutting off communications with the mainland and attacked naval ports along the south. Moscow's troops, tanks and long-range artillery are attacking sites in the north, including airports near Kyiv. Across the east, Ukrainian forces are facing a barrage of shelling and troop incursions, while in the south, Russian troops coming from annexed Crimea are attacking multiple cities and towns. The day that changed everything for Ukraine and Europe left homes destroyed and residents. Streets are now brimming with remnants of war and a sense of panic. Here in Lviv, civilians have listened to the call to arms. Around the city, there are queues of people ready to sign up and join Ukraine's military effort. 52-year-old Taras Rodshevich is one of those who's put their hand up.
There's no other option. There is no alternative. We will not live under the Russian rule.
For many Ukrainians, this is a cause worth fighting for.
US Army helicopters land in Latvia, helping to reinforce Baltic defences as nearby Ukraine comes under attack.
Peace on our continent has been shattered. We now have war in Europe on a scale and of a type we thought belonged to history.
The United States is sending thousands of troops to help bolster NATO's eastern flank should Russian forces descend on their borders.
The Russian military has begun a brutal assault on the people of Ukraine. Without provocation, without justification, without necessity, this is a premeditated attack.
Joe Biden has unveiled a second, more severe set of sanctions targeting large Russian banks and wealthy individuals, as well as blocking access to cutting-edge technologies needed to modernise the Russian military, its space program and economy. The US is still holding out the option of sanctions against Vladimir Putin himself, but insists the package as it stands will have devastating consequences.
This is going to take time. He's going to test the resolve of the West to see if we stay together, and we will.
It's not without cost at home, with the president promising to try to limit the impact on American consumers.